Hey everyone, it's Coach Ronald from HPLO Fitness. So today I have a different video. Okay, so what camera do I use on YouTube now to make fitness videos that you've been seeing recently? Alright, so here it is. This is the Panasonic Lumix GH6 camera. It's a micro four thirds system that shoots up to 5.8K. in anamorphic mode. In 60 frames per second, it will shoot up to 5.7K. Pretty good, right? And you can shoot ProRes out of this, up to 1.9 gigabits per second. So this is definitely a camera that shoots really high quality videos. And this system itself, the body is $2,000 for the body. And the lens that came with it, I'll put it on in a bit. It came with it. So the whole package was $27.99. I mean, $2,799 plus tax for this system itself. Okay. I will be back with the lens and I can show you some of the features of the camera. See you then. Okay, I'm back. So here's the GH6 with the lens. This is a 12mm to 60mm Leica lens that came in the box with it. I like that because I have a lot of things I can do to work with the lens as long as it came in the box. So I like that. A lot of these cameras that cost, that even the body itself costs at least $2,000, they don't come with a lens. So you got to buy your own, and the lens they range in price. I've seen these lenses go for $4,000 for a lens itself for the camera. All right. I'm about to turn on this camera and I'll show you some features. Okay, I'm going to go through some of the buttons here. This button in the front is in the front of the lens itself. This is a record button. I like that because I can shoot videos of myself. And it's easier to do that by pressing the front button right there. There's another record button right up here. Right up here, this red button right here. You can record videos by pressing this button right up there. And you can press record hitting this shutter button right here, and it does photos. So you can definitely still do photography with this system itself. But it's mainly a video camera, and that's what I bought it for. And that's what I do with it in the first place. All right. I'll be back. I'll turn on the camera and you can see some features. Hey, my bad. Before I show you the video resolutions, I will talk about why did I get the camera in the first place. I got the camera because I wanted more of a better look to the videos from what I used, which was an iPhone to shoot the videos that I was making for you guys to do the workouts on. So that's the main reason why I got it. A big reason for getting it, cooling. So I'll show you something. This right here, these vents right here, there's a fan that's built into this camera. So what it does is it blows out hot air, the heat that this camera generates from recording those videos. It blows it out, so it helps with keeping it cool. I've actually lost workout videos because of overheating from other things that I use to make videos. So this essentially solves most of these problems. Unfortunately, since I shoot videos here in Hawaii, I don't solve everything because there's still a lot of heat outside, and it's year-round. It's year-round. It's a year-round thing because Hawaii is in the tropics, is near the equator. So it's always going to be like that. So unfortunately, I can't solve every single thing. So I still have to be in the shade and, you know, things like that. This is not a full frame camera. This is a micro four thirds system. So of course, more light's gonna hit a full frame camera than it does this, but this allows in for more light than what a phone can do because the sensor is massive. I think I showed it to you earlier, but the sensor is massive. More light can hit the lens in the sensor, so better video quality and better and more details, which is what people want on YouTube. All right. This is the, before I show you the video quality and I go over it, I would just recommend that if you are looking to get into like making high quality videos, like just for YouTube, or you got a business, or you're doing filmmaking for work, you know, I'm talking about TV shows and Hollywood films, that sort of thing. This is the camera you would start with, and then you just go from there, and you probably would end up with a huge $20,000 video camera. One of those huge ones that, huge lenses, you got a huge camera body, those kind of things. But yeah, this is where you would start though. This camera is where you would start. Then you just go from there. All right, so I'll be back with the video resolutions and things like that. But as of, before I do that, I'll just tell you that this is the camera you should get if you're going to start off with doing that kind of work that I just mentioned a few seconds ago. All right, I'll see you with the resolutions, and I'll be back. Hey guys, I'm back. So I'm gonna show you some of the things that you can do with this camera. All right, so I'm in the image format menu of this camera. So as I press, I'm gonna show you some of the resolutions here you can shoot up to. All right, this is an MOV. This is where you're gonna get most of your options here. Okay, so here you can shoot up to 5.8K in anamorphic mode. Look at the bit rates here, 200 megabits per second, pretty high, and you get way better quality here. 5.8K at 24 frames, 5.7K at 60 frames per second. This is the highest resolution you can shoot in that will get you 60 frames per second. But you're going to need a CF Express card to do this because SD cards cannot keep up. I do have a 128 gigabyte SD card installed into this camera that will do up to 200 megabits per second. So if I shot this right here, well, the card can't keep up and it's just going to get corrupted. So that's why I can't do it. 5.7K in 48 frames per second. Not bad here. So this is what I could shoot at the max with the current SD card that I have. 5.7K at 30 FPS. Alright, 24 frames per second. At 200 megabits per second, this is already pretty high quality. 4.4K. Again, CF Express card is going to be needed in this camera for it. 48 frames per second. The one right here, 60 frames per second. That'll be cool. This is in anamorphic mode. Alright, the highlight of this camera, 4K 120 frames per second. This requires a CF Express card again. And this camera does have a CF Express card slot. Very expensive card though. The cheapest I've seen, it goes for $200 and it's only a measly 128 gigabytes of storage. So you will run out of storage quickly if you shoot videos like this on these cards. 800 megabits per second in 4K 60. You definitely need a CF Express card for this. Another one, CF Express card, 600 megabits per second. This is a cinematic 4K. So it's 4096 by 2160. 17 by 9 aspect ratio. I like shooting in this because I get a little bit more room. I definitely shoot in this, but cannot shoot in these bit rates because the cards are too slow. Alright, so this is what I mainly use in my videos. 4096 by 2160, 17 by 9 aspect ratio at 60 frames per second. So this is what I use mainly when I shoot the videos, because it's a balance between high frame rate, high bit rate, and high res. So this is what I mainly use. And the card does up to 200 megabits per second, which I never had a problem with shooting videos with this camera. So that's what I use in my videos. Same thing, but I don't use this mode. I use the other one. This is 422. That's what I use. 422 bit, 10 bit. I don't use 420. I use 422. This is 48 frames per second. This one needs a CF Express card, which I don't use. I could shoot in this, but I don't. 48 frames per second. I don't use this. 420. I don't use this. 400 megabits per second. In 30 frames per second, need a CF Express card. So I don't use this. This one, if I blog, if all I do is talk in front of the camera, when I make, one of these days I'm going to make some smoothie videos and some other stuff that I just talk, I will use this. I will use this 4096 by 2160 at 30 frames per second, and it does 150 megabits per second on the card. So I will use this if I do those kinds of videos. I don't use this, but possible. 400 megabits per second. I don't use this, and I don't shoot at 24 frames per second at all in my videos. I just don't. I don't use this at all. I can if I want, but I just don't. A lot of cinematic 4K modes on this camera. By the way, you're just seeing it right now. I don't use these modes. Alright, now this is UHD 4K. 16:9 aspect ratio, the standard one that you see on YouTube. And many TVs. Alright, 120 frames per second, need a CF Express card. If I had one, I would maybe shoot workout videos in this frame rate. I may do that one day if I had a CF Express card. (800 megabits per second), 3840 by 2160 in 16:9, 60 frames per second. I don't use this because I don't have a CF Express card right now, currently in the camera. (600 megabits per second). Again, CF Express card. Oh yeah, sometimes I do shoot in 3840 by 2160 in 16:9 aspect ratio, 60 frames per second, and 200 megabits per second. So this is another great balance between high res, high quality, and saving storage. So I use this a lot too myself in the workout videos. Another one I could shoot. This. Okay, HLG means high dynamic range. So that's what it means. So you can shoot HDR 4K in this camera. If you elect to buy this and want to shoot films, you can shoot that type of videos on here. That's possible. You need a CF Express card for this. This is 800 megabits per second. Another one, 600 megabits per second, CF Express card. This is in 48 frames per second. I don't use this frame rate. Another one I don't use. This one, 400 megabits. I don't use this because no CF Express card currently in my camera. If I talk, I might use this frame rate in this resolution because, again, SD card supports it and it saves space. I don't use 420, so you can forget about this one. You need a CF Express card for this one. This one, you can use a standard SD card as long as you have a card that writes fast. A 200 megabit per second card, you can use this mode. You can use this one too. All right. I definitely did not buy this for 1080p, but you can shoot 1080p videos on this camera, and you can shoot up to 240 frames per second. Well, that's the mode that you got right now on this camera. (200 megabits). This saves space, but I definitely just don't use it. (120 frames per second in 1080p). That's cool. (60 frames per second, 1080p). That's standard. I haven't used it in a while, but I don't mind if I want to save some space. And my videos are too long and I want to save some space, I could use this 1080p mode. So, yeah. I'm not afraid to use it if I have to. 100 megabits per second. Yeah, so if I want to save some space, If you want to save some space too on your SD card and you want to shoot longer videos, you can do this. You still get the high bit rate and high quality. You can shoot 1080p videos, and that's no problem. You can do that to yourself on YouTube if you got this camera. All right, I'm running down the list. All these modes. There's a lot of modes on this camera, a lot of video modes. Yeah, and you can shoot HDR with this guy too in 1080p. Not bad. You definitely don't want to shoot 50 megabits per second. You will lose a lot of quality. So do not shoot in this. The minimum I'm going to recommend you shooting in is 100 megabits per second. All right, that's it. That's about it. So, okay, you can do ProRes here. I'm showing it to you right now. You need a CF Express card to shoot ProRes on this camera, but you can do it. I'll show it to you right now. So this is 422. Okay, this needs a super fast CF Express card, and I don't see those right now at Best Buy or any other company selling them right now. So this requires cards that reads 2 gigabits per second, and I don't see any cards right now that does it. So you can forget about this one. 1.3 gigabits. This is what you could shoot up to right now with the cards that I see in the market. This will take up a lot of space in your card, and you better spend, and you're gonna need at least a 256 gigabyte card. 1.5 gigabits, yep. You're gonna need a 256 minimum. And these cards cost $400, by the way. All right, so that's it in terms of what you can shoot at in ProRes right now. There's a firmware update for this, but I haven't done the firmware update for this camera yet. I might later on, but as of right now, it's currently constructed in terms of what's in this particular one that I have. That's it. So I'm going to go back to MOV and go from there. All right. You can definitely do photography with this because it's still a stills camera. It's just more of a video camera. That's what it mainly does. Oh, by the way, this is a camera that is technically Netflix certified, so you could use this for those kind of jobs. All right, guys, so I'm not gonna bore you around with other stuff with this camera. Just know that this is mainly a video camera, and if you're gonna buy this, make sure you use it for videos, because they didn't really optimize this camera themselves at Panasonic for stills. So if you're gonna get a photography camera from Panasonic, I would tell you just get the Lumix S5 if you're gonna do that one, because that's a full frame system and you'll get a little bit nicer video out of that. Actually, nicer photos. Video kind of limited on that unless you have a external recorder, but then you don't have a full-size HDMI port either that it comes with. You get a micro HDMI port, which will break. So if you're gonna shoot videos right now and you're on a cheap budget right now, this is the cheapest professional video camera you can get in the market. So if you're gonna buy a video camera and you need it right now on a tight budget, this is it. This is the camera to go get right now. All right, folks, so that's about it. I'm not gonna bore you around. I will show you some images. out of this camera. I'll have some test footage from this camera. If you stay tuned and stick around, you'll see some of it and you can enjoy the quality that comes out of this camera. All right, take care. Stay safe out there. I'll see you in the next workouts. All right. Have a good day, everyone.